So here we have a survey example. Let's read through it once before we get started. It says, a group of 60 freshman students at a large university was surveyed with the following results. 19 of the students were taking a science course, 18 were taking a history course, 50 were taking a math course, 13 were taking a science course and a history course, 11 were taking a history course and a math course, 13 were taking a science course and a math course, and 9 were taking all 3 courses. So when you reach a survey problem like this, remember the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to translate the information into symbols so that you can actually then move away from the problem and just look at the information given. So the first thing we see is that 19 of the students were taking a science course. So this translates into N of S is 19. Then we know that 18 were taking a history course, so N of H is 18, N of M is 50. So those are my first 3 pieces of information. Next, it tells me that 13 were taking a science and a history course. So this word and here is important. The word and indicates that we're talking about an intersection. So we have N of science and history. So that's going to look like S intersect H, and N of S intersect H is 13. Then in the next one we have N of H intersect M, and that's 11. And then we have N of S intersect M, and that's 13. And then the last piece of information tells us that 9 were taking all 3 courses, and all 3 courses translates into the intersection of all 3. So that's S intersect H intersect M, which is equal to 9. So at this point now, we've taken the information, we've put it into symbolic form so that we can then go ahead and use our Venn diagram. And the one piece of information actually that we did not yet use is this information here, the fact that there are 60 freshmen. That's going to come into play in a little bit. Put it aside, but realize that that's the only number we haven't really looked at yet in the problem. So the next thing that we need is our Venn diagram. So here's our Venn diagram, and the first thing really we should do is we should label the different circles so that we know what we're talking about. So we have science, and I'm going to put an S here next to this circle. We have history, and I'll make this one H, and we have math, I'll make this one M. It doesn't matter which one you choose, I'm just picking it this way. Now we know that whenever you fill in a Venn diagram, you always have to fill in the smallest section first. In our case, that's this region here, which is the intersection of all 3 sets. So we go over to our information, and we're going to actually check it off as we go, and we know that there are 9 elements in this region, and so we're going to put a number 9 in the region. Now remember, this is not the same as when we labeled the regions with numbers. This is actually saying there are 9 students who take science, history, and math. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next region, and again, we want one of the smaller regions, so we have a choice. We can either look at this region here, or this region here. It doesn't really matter which one we choose. Let's just move our way up on the information. So we have S intersect M is 13. Now here's the thing again that you have to remember. S intersect M is this region here. That's where S and M intersect. And of the 13 elements that are supposed to be in that region, we see 9 of them are actually there already, which means that we are left with 4 for this little region here. So again, if we look at S intersect M, we have 9 plus 4, which make up the 13 that we need. So now let's continue on. We can pick the next region as we work our way up, which is this one here, H intersect M, which says we have 11 elements. So again, the circle H intersecting with the circle M is actually this space here, which is made up of the 2 regions. So of the 11 elements, 9 of them are already there. So if we take the 9 away from the 11, we're left with 2 in this region. So that again gives me the 9 plus 2, which is the 11 elements in H intersect M. Similarly, for S intersect H being 13, S intersect H is this area here, which is these two regions, which leaves me once again with 4. So far we have 4 of our regions filled in. Now we need to work our way through. So the next thing we're going to look at as we work our way up is that the number of elements in M is 50. So let's check this off. So again, what is M made up of? M is this circle here, right? And M is actually made up of 4 regions. So if we look at M, we know that M is made up of 9 plus 4 plus 2 plus that missing area that we don't have. So if we do the math, we've got 50 is 9 plus 4 plus 2 plus question mark. What we find is that the question mark, or the X that we're looking for, is equal to 35, which means that now we can put 35 here in this region. And again, you can always double check yourself by adding up everything in this circle M. Everything in this circle M, 35 plus 2 is 37, 37 plus 9 is 46, plus 4, which gives me the 50 elements that are in M. So now we can do the same thing for H, right? If we take a look at H, H has 18 elements. Okay, well, let's look at H. Here's H. It's made up of these 4 regions, but we already have 4 plus 9 plus 2. We already have 15 of our H, and if there's 18 altogether, that tells me that there are 3 left in this region. Last, we need to deal with S. So we know that S has 19 elements, but when we take a look at our S circle here, we see that we've already used up 4, 9, and 4, which is 17 of the 19 elements, which means that we have 2 left in this region. So all of the circles in the regions are complete, but you might think we're done, but we're not, because there's still one piece of information left, and that's that we have the 60 freshmen. That's information up here. How does that come into play? Well, here's the thing. We need to add up everything that we have in all of these circles and make sure that our numbers make sense. So let's add them up. We have 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 9 is 18, plus 2 is 20, plus 35 is 55, plus 4 is 59. So in all of my circles, I have 59 elements altogether. However, we know that 60 freshmen were actually interviewed, which means that of the 60 freshmen that were interviewed, there's actually 1 freshman sitting out here in the universe. And that 1 freshman, what it means is he doesn't take history, he doesn't take science, and he doesn't take math. So 60 freshmen were interviewed, 59 of them take some combination of science, history, math, 1 doesn't take any of them. So now, at this point, the Venn diagram is complete. So now we have all of information, and now we can actually go ahead and answer a question. So the first question reads, how many students take none of these classes? And we actually know the answer to this now because we know how many students take none of the classes. We already said the answer to that is going to be 1. The next question reads, how many students take only science? Well, we need to understand what only science means. While this whole circle here is science, these regions here mean they take science and something else, right? Here it's science and history. Here it's all 3 of them. Here it's science and math. So if we're asking about only science, that would be this region here. It's the students who are in S but aren't in any of the other circles. And so the answer to this question happens to be 2. Our last question says, how many students take math and history but not science? Well, if we're looking at that, we're looking at the intersection of math and history. But here's the thing. It's math and history, that's these 2 regions, but not science, which means it can't fall into this region here because this region is in science also. So math and history but not science is this region here, which again happens to be the answer number 2.